is 1 o'clock, so I'll call the Facilities Committee meeting for Wednesday, September 17th, 2025 to order. Let me lead us in a prayer, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today and just ask your guidance for us as we undertake the Joint Water and Sewer Commission business. Grant us understanding for the issues at hand and help us to be good stewards of all of our customers. And Father, I want to pray for our country. I really want to pray for our leaders, and I want to pray for that we would just have a healing process, and that everyone would go and read the Beatitudes and understand that everybody comes from different backgrounds and everything else. You made us all different, but we still live in the best country in the world, and I just ask your blessings on it and our leaders. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Is there any public comment?
Yes, sir.
First item on the approval section is minutes from the August 20th, 2025 Facilities Committee meeting. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Next item is the Memorandum of Understanding Bay Street Water Improvements Engineering. Mr. Burris.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Klein can pull this up on GIS should we want to take a look at this. But the City of Brunswick has a project to do a proposed roundabout at Newcastle and Bay Street, right next to the Pate Building where the county offices are at. This falls under GDOT jurisdiction and, of course, will require extensive permitting due to the GDOT requirements. While they're in there doing that work, we have a couple of proposed improvements, including some sewer line rerouting and water line installation. And in order to do this as part of one GDOT permitting process, this MOU is between us and the City of Brunswick, and this is for engineering. The city's selected engineer for the transportation design is GWES, who has worked for us before as well on water and sewer. And the cost for the water and sewer engineering portion of the work is $127,880. This would be paid to the city, not directly to GWES. And then there would be a secondary contract to come back for the construction improvements at that time. And Todd, you want to walk through the proposed improvements for them?
Certainly. The roundabout is going to take place right here, kind of in the pinch point, Bay Street, Newcastle. Essentially, we're going to take and eliminate some of this gravity and reverse the flow of it to a shorter path. And then G Street here, replacing the water line and collection system through this area here too.
Yeah. So we're tying a water line from Bay Street, or not Grant Street, over to G Street, and then reversing that gravity sewer down out of that roundabout area, correct?
Correct, right.
And where's the new sewer going to be located?
Actually reconstructing a little bit outside the limits.
Around the thing pretty fast. I'm having a hard time following.
Yes, sir.
If you pull up the memo, there's
Let me go back to the,
yeah. So scroll on down, the last sheet should have the conceptual. Here we go.
Is that in our packet?
It did not get printed correctly, so we're working off the digital. That's all right. At least we got it.
right. So obviously here, traffic circle improvements. This is the segment of gravity right here that we want to get out of this area while they're in here doing the new construction. And
How deep is that line?
that is the.
It's pretty shallow up on the other end up there.
Yeah, it's pretty shallow. That's the upper end. So take and reverse it this direction to get it out of there.
Doesn't change which pump station it goes to.
It goes to Academy. It's flowing north, right?
It actually goes back down to 4002, believe it or not.
Yes.
This far north, you would think it would go, continue heading north to the Academy Creek, and actually this is the upper end of the 4002 basin. It actually goes all the way back down to Mansfield Street. So
Pretty much I Street south goes to.
4003 is up above that.
just north of here.
4003 is on K Street, and that's G and H right there.
Right.
So what size sewer is that?
It's 8 inch, I believe.
Yes.
Right now, it's in,
Six,
it's in 341. Is it in the right of way?
Yes, sir. It's in the right of way.
In the Newcastle right away, yes, sir.
That segment's actually 6 inch here. The one out in Newcastle, that's the one that,
Okay.
I believe that's also clay, if I remember right. Yeah, that's the 8 inch clay there. So I've actually seen it one time when this structure tied in with the new service.
How many services on that line?
On the section that's,
The section's being rerouted probably.
yeah.
1 or 2. Looks like 2. Well, you got the other side of the street too.
building here, yeah. And that's part of it. We'll combine them with better service, 6 inch services, which is the standard for commercial entities now.
But you're saying it's not deep there at all?
Well, that's in the line when you go the other,
Up at 8th Street is the end of the line?
I think it is, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we're just turning it and going up the street rather than continuing down the road.
Right, and getting out of the new roundabout area.
And what is the harm having it buried under? I mean,
Well, I mean,
we
if it
cross
doesn't-
roads and that kind of stuff, but
We do, we try to avoid major intersections whenever possible. So if there's a major intersection improvement, we try to get our assets outside of the scope of the intersection so that if we ever have to work on it, we're not in the middle of those. The same thing, at the Glencoe, Harry Driggers roundabout, we relocated assets out of that so we don't have to go in that roundabout if anything were to happen.
and with this abandonment of this, if a problem came, we couldn't, it wouldn't be a quick enough fix to change the routing of it at that time rather than,
No, sir, I think you're looking at a couple months' worth of work to get this done.
yeah.
So right now is a red line coming down right by the roundabout. Is that the line we're replacing?
Yes, this is the
what
one.
we would abandon right here.
Yes. And so we're going, up there above it, we're going to turn it and then come down Reynolds? Is that right?
So this segment, this is the upper end here, this will be abandoned right here, the manhole will be capped off, or that line will be capped here. Everything from this end will continue to go this direction here. This is abandoned, we would take this segment here, basically reverse the flow this way, with the new line coming down G Street, tying into this existing manhole. That's about 6 foot deep.
So we're going to abandon some and then leave some just the way it is.
Right, yeah, because the section that continues on H Street will continue to gravity that direction, but we won't be in the roundabout improvements.
That's right. Limits of the city's project is right here, this curve right here, all the way up to here. So if there's ever a time to do it, it would be now. They're putting in new curving, improvements, things like that, obviously surface, storm.
Is all of that DOT right away? Or
That's-
city right away?
It is coordinated with DOT, yes.
Bay Street is DOT right away.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get a DOT permit too.
That's the reason we're trying to do this now is because they're going through that DOT permitting process.
And what about water? Is it just sewer?
The water, they're going to take a line off of Grant Street and loop it up to G Street, correct, Todd, if you scroll down?
Yeah.
New 12-inch water main right there off of, is that G, that little cut through? Yeah, right there.
Have we videoed that sewer line lately?
Yes, sir.
It is a clay line.
Yes.
So what are we going to do with the water line?
Pick it up here, whipping in through here.
All right. Can I have a motion?
I move that the Facilities Committee recommend entering into an MOU with the City of Brunswick for engineering services for the Newcastle Street and Bay Street intersection improvement projects in the amount of $127,880.
I'll second.
Motion second. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Next item is memorandum of understanding Howard Coffin Park Pipe Relocation Project.
Can you stand back up? As far as Howard Coffin Park, we have the well facility and pump station right there adjacent to the Howard Coffin Park building, and then there is a drainage ditch that comes in just below our well facility. And the city has got to do some drainage improvements through there. We went out, there are 3 crossings. There are 2 water main crossings, including one the main feed leaving the well facility and the force main from the pump station all go across that ditch. They are currently suspended in the ditch. One of the casings on the water line is in very bad shape. And so while they're doing the ditch improvements, we want to take advantage of the opportunity to get under the new ditch improvements instead of having aerial crossings in the ditch.
Is
So
that the main discharge line from the well
from the well, yes, sir.
going to our system?
Yes, sir. So you see the 3 lines there, the 2 to the east are the water lines, the dashed green line to the west is the sewer line, force main. So this would be the engineering and permitting for the core permit to actually get in that tidal ditch for them to do the work and for us to go underneath the new drainage improvements. And the cost to do that is $38,500. The engineer that's been selected by the city is Zulu Marine Services, who appears to specialize in these tidal situations. They haven't done any work for us before, but we've been pleased with our interactions with them thus far.
Has that ever flooded?
Yes.
What's that?
Has that ever flooded? Yes.
Is that a tidal gate to the right there?
This is a tidal creek, I'll call it.
What's that, just in between where you're going back and forth?
This is a little bridge.
Yeah, it's just they put a culvert in, replaced, the city did, replaced the culvert.
That's not a tidal gate though, anything.
It is tidal, yes.
There's no
It's
gate.
tidal, but
There's no gate. No, sir.
Oh, no gate, no, sir. Yeah, and as Mr. Burrows said, our casing right here for our water line, a 12-inch, that's, the top is basically corroded out of it, you can see right inside.
You can imagine ductile iron in a tidal area. It's not holding up real well.
So what are we gonna put in there?
We're going to put HDPE under.
Correct, drill underneath, yes.
Okay.
All right, sir. I move that the Facilities Committee recommend entering into a MOU with the City of Brunswick for permitting and engineering services for the Howard Coffin Park Pipe Relocation Project in the amount of $38,500.
I'll second.
Motion second. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Next item is contract award sanitary sewer smoke testing. Mr. Burrows?
All right, so if you recall, when we brought to you a proposal for the master plan, we discussed at that point that it may be a better use of those funds to do a smoke testing project. And so we pulled wet weather runtime versus dry weather runtime on all of our pump stations and selected the top 50 sewer sheds for review. We eliminated 5 of those sewer sheds because they were either direct discharge from an upstream pump station, so the fact that they were running more was because the upstream station was running more, or because they had only a couple of sticks of pipe upstream in some of these small, what we call little jumper stations out there. And so we put out, and we also added the 2 that direct discharge to Dunbar Creek and Academy Creek, those sewer sheds. That totaled 965,906 linear feet of gravity sewer. And so we put out a request for proposals in August. We got 9 proposals back. You should have a hand-printed copy. The one that was originally in there was oriented incorrectly. But we had a 3-person team score this project, total possible 300 points. The scores were 25 points per person possible for recently completed projects similar in type and scale of what we're doing here. 50 points available for project approach, the timeline, and the deliverables they provided. And then 25 points were for pricing included in here. Of the 9 proposals, the highest scoring proposal was submitted by McKim & Creed at a total contract price of $496,248.98. That is an all-in cost of 51 cents per linear foot to do the smoke testing. McKim & Creed previously did a smoke testing project for us on St. Simon's Island, and we had very successful results with that. As part of the project, they will be producing an online dashboard for staff to keep up with for essentially real-time updates of where defects are found. And they will be directly integrating the defects found into our asset management software to enable us to get those work orders spun out. They were the only firm that in their proposal mentioned doing that, so that would take, everyone else was giving us a list of defects. We then have to do the administrative process of creating all those work orders and getting that out. So that was a major selling point for staff that scored this, was that integration there and limiting the duplication of efforts. So again, there were 9 proposals. Fantastic to see as many people interested in this project as what there were. But for a little under $500,000, we can get almost 1 million feet of pipe inspected. The average cost proposal for all 9 was just a hair under $700,000.
Average cost.
Average cost was just a hair under $700,000.
Their cost is $498.
Their cost is $496, $248.98.
Did they all have the same completion date?
No, sir. Well, it was a 210-day contract. Some people had the way they were going about it, because you also have dye water tracing and dye water flooding. So the way they staged those may have been differently. McKim & Creed's approach was to get started in October, towards the middle of October, and then have smoke testing completed by the end of January, and then move into the dye water tracing and dye water flooding. Some people were doing more of it simultaneously with the other 2 types as they found the defects. The shortest one we saw was a proposal to do the smoke testing in 8 weeks, which was much quicker than everyone else in doing that. So that was an opportunity somebody presented, but they were not the highest scoring proposal.
And they'll be doing it out of the Jacksonville office?
Yes.
Have we televised most of those lines?
We have gotten through about half of our system in our 10-year project to go through that. We're a little over halfway through with it, so I won't say we've televised most of these. I'd have to go back and cross-reference.
What percentage of the work is in the mainland and what percentage is on St. Simon's?
Well, you see, here's a list of basins. So I'm going to do some quick math here and just get in the ballpark. That's roughly 170, 85, 90, not 205, 225, 242, 255, 285, 285.
So it's about 50-50, is that right?
It's probably more 60-40.
Okay.
Probably more 60-40 mainland to island. Mostly because we got large basins on the island, on the mainland, that are getting tested. There are also a couple of basins off the south mainland that are being tested. 3103, 3114, 3121 on the south mainland are also being tested.
So we're going to be doing the testing where we just did the rehab?
4002 is, yes, that'll be part of it. Obviously, smoke testing likely won't show us the same kind of defects you would get from CCTV inspection, but you'll find a lot of clean-out covers, things that have been removed that you wouldn't find with CCTV inspection. Think problems with laterals. Suspect we're going to find a lot of problems with manholes. We know that's an ongoing issue, but we can identify the worst ones. And then with smoke testing, we got a opportunity to find potential any storm cross connections that may have occurred, or if a line has not been televised or has been televised previously, but in, let's say, the last 5 years, but damage has been done in the last couple of years, we'll find that defect now that may not be showing itself yet. I mean, for $500,000 to get 1 million feet of pipe roughly inspected, we don't have to find a whole lot of significant defects for that to pay for itself very quickly with the cost of pumping and treating wastewater.
And they did a good job the last time going.
They did a very good job last time.
Notify people.
Yes, so they notify 72 hours in advance, and then they'll have door hangers out for everyone, and they will be communicating with the fire department about, obviously, where they're going to be working at, because people do think things are on fire, even though it is a non-toxic. It's not actually smoke, but people think things are on fire. They see it coming out of the roof vents and things like that. They think their house is on fire, so we notify the fire department and things like that about it.
When did we do St. Simon's before?
2018?
Yeah.
2017, 2018. I think it was 2018 and the mainland was 2019. And last time we found between the two systems about 8 storm cross connections. So when you find storm cross connections, that's where you get your real bang for your buck.
Another motion?
I move that the Facilities Committee recommend entering into a contract with Kim and Creed for the 2025 sanitary sewer smoke and dye testing services project in the amount of $496,248.98.
Second.
Motion second. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Next item is change order number 1, FEMA-funded generator installation. Mr. Burris.
Yes, sir. So in April, we awarded a contract to Popco to install 8 fixed generators at $4.9 million. At the construction kickoff meeting with staff and our engineering consultant, Chatham Engineering, Popco indicated there was a concern about the lead time associated with a 3,000 amp distribution panel that will go on for the 1,500 kilowatt generator at Academy Creek. Popco incorrectly understood that the panels and the components would be provided by the JWSC. Our bid documents indicated that the only generators and transfer switches would be provided by the JWSC, and there were no questions asked about the panel in any of the issue addendum for this project. Popco has submitted a change order request to accommodate the purchase of this 3,000 amp panel and the necessary components in the amount of $225,808.29. We can review the plans and we go through this. In staff's recommendation, given that there was no questions asked, that we deny this change order request. I do not dispute that they missed this in their bidding process. However, it was clear in the bid process that this panel had to be purchased.
You know, one of my questions here is when I was just looking in this, I didn't see a write-up by Chatham Engineering. Where's their write-up?
I have an email from them, but I didn't get an official memo from them or anything like that. They agreed with the recommendation to deny the change order request.
What are the range of the bids?
4.9, and I think the second was 5.2, 5.3, somewhere in that ballpark.
So Popco's is 4.9, and there's just 2 bidders?
Just 2 bidders, yes, sir.
Can you include that email from the engineers for tomorrow's meeting?
Sure.
Because I would like to see them address each and every thing that this Popco brings up.
Sure.
I'd like to see the specifications too in the bid documents.
All right, here's the front-end bid documents that go in the scope of work. It states that generators and transfer switches have been procured by the owner, and then goes into the additional scope of work, installation of owner-provided generators and transfer switches. On the bid documents here, let me get down to it. Compost building, okay. This 3,000 amp panel is a distribution panel here. On this one line drawing, the notes do, if you scroll over here, let me find the note. Where's that? Maybe on the other sheet, sorry. So they have notes on each sheet, the way they go. Owner furnished generator will be provided, things like that. There is no mention that we would provide this panel whatsoever. The only discussion before the bidding process was not a submitted question, was just they were made us aware, all parties made us aware that that panel has a significant lead time on it. It does. It's got like an 18 or 20 week lead time on that panel. But there was no questions about who was going to provide that panel. I will say I did send this to Mr. Ford, given his background in these type projects, and got his opinion on this as well.
I think the one note you're looking for is on the bottom of the page.
Provide main breaker, yeah.
Yeah, that covers the one
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, so they're supposed to provide the main breaker. Obviously, there's got to be a panel that the main breaker goes
So
in.
the main breaker's in that panel.
Yes, sir. Like I said, I am not disputing that they did not include this in their bid price.
Well, Okay, let me re-ask that question. You can't say one way or the other.
I don't have the details, but I mean,
Exactly. We don't know
right.
if they did or they didn't. And if we didn't get their completed proposal at the time, we would never have any idea whether they included it or not.
Sure. I mean, I trust that they wouldn't be asking for a change order if it was originally included, but they should have originally included it in their bid price.
Okay. Now, hypothetically, just play the worst-case scenario out, that there is some interpretation on the drawings that maybe they did not include it. Who becomes liable? Does the A&E become liable, or the engineering firm?
You talking about their insurance?
If there are things shown on the drawing that the contractor did not include, all right, and he can kind of prove that. Now, does the engineering company, since they didn't show it and there's a mistake on the drawings, do they become it?
Well, I don't know that there's a mistake on the drawings.
Well,
Looked at it, but, I mean, if it didn't say that we were going to provide it, then, there's no way we can be liable for it.
What does the proposal look like? Can we see the proposal? Did they have to list different things in the
No,
proposal?
they did not have to list it. The way FEMA projects are bid, it's just per location.
They had to say what the scope of work is. What's the scope of work?
This is, well, there's a scope of work and notes on each individual sheet of the project that was provided by the engineer. There's notes here, and then at the top on the cover page here, there is a scope of work for the 1500 kW generator, existing to be removed, new generator, and then aluminum enclosure to be located outside the foundation pad, and then new transfer switch to be installed. And then the scope of work provided in the front end of the bid documents says generators have been, and transfer switches have been procured, installation is in the order we wanted them installed, and the work is included but not limited to the installation of owner-provided generators and transfer switches, installation of concrete pads, installation of conduit and conductor, relocation of existing on-site generators, coordination with Georgia Power, and building improvements as necessary to facilitate installation.
So with that, they were not saying that they were not including that panel, if I understood.
Can you restate the question? I didn't follow you
All
there.
right. What they said that the owner provided in that list that you just read off, that panel is
It's
not
not
in that
included.
list.
No, the only thing it says owner provided is the generators and the transfer switches.
And how much work has Popco done for us in the past?
They currently have 6 existing other contracts other than this.
And
They've done more work than that previously, but they've got 6 existing contracts.
then what is the likelihood that they would want to vacate the job over this?
They are actively performing the task now on site. We've approved the submittal on this panel. As part of this change order process, we did approve the submittal so they could get it ordered.
And he submitted it,
I'm sorry?
the contractor
Yeah,
submitted it.
contractor submitted it, yes. They were just requesting payment for it. And so I think they're going to do the job. They are asking a lot of questions at this point about the job, so, you know, it's going to be a lot of back and forth at this point, but we can handle
Do
that.
they sub this out to electrical?
They have an electrical they're doing Popco's doing the generators and the actual bases and structures and things like that, and doing the digging. They do have an electrician that's doing the actual electrical work, yes.
Who is that?
Tech Electric out of Darien. They've done a lot of work for us in the past as well.
And we've never had an issue with Popco before. with
They do good work.
This kind of change.
I mean,
order and
they've had some change order requests, but we haven't had significant issues or anything. They do good work for us and have done successful projects for us.
basically like they admit that they missed it, they're asking for some help.
That's correct.
What was the engineer's cost estimate for this project?
Not $4.9 million. I think it was 2.
But that's an old estimate.
That was an old estimate, yes, sir.
I think week before last.
Yeah, yeah. That's 2 weeks ago. Last week it would have been 3.5. This week it was 4.5, yeah.
So you're saying Popco admitted that they missed it?
Yes.
And they're asking for help?
Yes.
Looks like their document says that they didn't get the original pricing due to not enough information was provided.
I understand that's what the document says, yes, sir.
Or they were not included in the scope or on the bid drawings.
I understand that is what the document says, yes, sir.
That's the document that they sent us.
That's the document that they sent us. And both Popco and their electrician were on site during the pre-bid process.
I guess the next question then is, what's the likelihood that Popco would not do work for us in the future if they eat this? I mean, just
I think
trying
there's
to-
some frustration, obviously, with this. I'm not going to dispute that. They're frustrated with my recommendation that this not be approved. Will it impact our future working relationship? I mean, it's $200,000. There's a chance that's going to happen, yes, sir.
And we've had trouble getting contractors.
We have had trouble getting contractors to bid work. That is correct, and they have been giving us consistent bids, yes, sir.
but
In every project they've done, they did the Golden Shores pump station, whatever.
They did Highway 17, 4044, 4002, 4003, 3101, and they did the Crispin Boulevard project. Emergency repair at Crispin Boulevard.
and
And then this one here is the 6th one.
Did you ask them to give you how they developed the bid, to see how they broke that out?
No, so the bid documents were per generator site. There was 1 of them, and they gave a lump sum per each generator
I
site.
understand that, but they had to develop their costs somehow, all of this, so they had a breakdown in-house.
Yes, they have not provided that.
well, for discussion's sake, and I understand your recommendation, but should we offer a compromise, where we come in at some split on that? If we've got a good relationship with them that we don't want to jeopardize, and, you know, money is money, and it's important to all of us.
Absolutely.
But, and it's just for discussion purposes, would that be in our best interest over the long haul if we gave them some relief versus none?
Certainly, that could be done. I mean, my personal opinion, y'all are certainly welcome to disagree, would be either we give it all or nothing. But,
Have they mobilized?
yes, they are on site at Academy now, working on the 450 and 750 setups. This panel is supposed to be delivered in January, so they're going to get the 450 and 750 installed, then start moving to the well sites, because until this panel gets here, there really ain't any reason to work on the 1500. But they do obviously had to get it ordered with the 16-week lead time.
You know, I don't mind forwarding this to the full commission, but I would still like to see the engineer's response directly to this, right? And the areas addressed that they feel, because it's not just one panel, it's a couple of items.
Yeah, so, yeah, right. So the request they've made is for,
Actually, a couple of panels, and I think the distribution board and
transformer, right. But the panel is 90% of the contract, the change order request.
Well, the electrical sub probably did the pricing for that.
I assume he should have been definitely involved, yes, sir.
And have they worked with us before too?
Yes, sir.
Electrical sub?
They've recently rehabbed about 4 small pump stations for us, and they were the electrical sub on the 4044 project and the Highway 17 North project as well. So, I mean, we've worked with both the prime and the sub extensively in the last few years, and we've had success in these projects with them.
And they still would have been low even if we had this change order in, right?
They would have been very close, yes, sir. They would have been low, but they would have been very close to the other contractor, yes, sir.
Do we want to defer this to the full commission and get the other information that you're asking for, Dave, so we can have a more?
Yeah, we can, that's kinda, I'm kinda curious, what was the second low bid? Can the second low bidder come back now and say, well, if all this had been included, I might have gotten the job?
No,
Well, I will say, I mean, to this point, to their credit, according to their request, they're not charging us for additional labor or anything. This is just for the materials. So they would have still been lower than the second low bid, but it would have been much closer. Hang on, let me try to find the other low bid.
Well, I know if they had bid the project and they came to us before they started the project and they said they made a mistake, we generally have to just grant them relief and award it to the next bidder. But in this case, they did not tell us then.
They told us at the kickoff meeting after contracts were signed and everything.
so they knew it.
But they had worksheets that they had. They either did not have it priced in there or something when they were preparing the bid. And they should be able to give us that documentation, I would think.
We can certainly ask for that documentation.
When was the kickoff meeting?
June?
I mean, they've done more work for us than anybody else.
In the last couple of years, yes, sir, they absolutely have. So here were the bids that were submitted. So we awarded 4.9 million on the base bid here.
We
So,
have that picture in our,
no, sir. So they would have been, with this added to it, they'd have been at 5.13 versus 5.46.
that's a big cost for them to absorb.
If they knew
Big
this,
cost for us to absorb too.
if they knew this at the kickoff meeting, why are we at this point now?
That was submitted to us in, well, when was the date on the letter? August, somewhere in there. Yeah, they were submitted right after our last commission meeting.
This is before they got started.
Yeah, they mobilized early September, yes, sir.
And the other part unspoken here, if they continue to do work for us, you know that they're going to try to increase future bids to recover this cost that they'd have, they'd still have to be low bid, obviously, but they will try to build this back in somewhere. And maybe that's a better pill for us to swallow than trying to do something at this point.
I think several of the projects they got, they were the only bidder, wasn't
Yes, sir.
they, on some of those pump stations?
Some of the pump station projects, they were the only bidder we got, yes, sir. I will say, based off my conversations with them, since this request, I don't think this is the only change order request we're going to be getting from them.
Why do you say that?
They've already stated a couple of things that if we didn't do that, if we didn't provide these things, they would just charge us for it and ask for a change order.
Say that again?
Yeah, they have had other requests along the way. Then if we couldn't provide that, they would just get it done and charge us for it and ask for a change order. So I don't think this is the only change order request we're going to get on this project. Does approving this mean we get less change order requests later? Maybe. Denying it certainly means they're going to give us as many as they can find afterwards.
Have we had many change orders on the other projects?
No, sir. We had not so much, no, sir.
But the electrical sub's doing most of this work, I guess.
Yeah. Popco's gonna set everything. The electrical subs are just gonna run the conduit and tie it in.
This is unusual for us. I don't know if I ever remember having a motion to deny.
I don't know that we ever have had one. Typically, when we have, when people have submitted things, whether that we have rejected, they don't actually submit an official change order request. It's more of a conversation, but since they submitted a verbal change order request and the contract is technically with the commission, brought to you to decide one way or another which way we need to go with this.
Well, that's the most critical generator we have, right?
It will be powering the new UV system, yes, sir.
So it's we need to have a really good installation.
Yes, that's 100% correct, yes, sir.
That means we need to have a happy contractor too. They need to be proud of their project.
Yes, sir, they should certainly be proud of the work they're doing for us.
Couldn't we request their work documents, their bid documents, with their worksheets and all that stuff?
I mean, we could. I'm not sure that they're going to be required to provide. I don't know if we can require them to provide that at this point.
And at this point in time, how do you know what you get submitted is what they originally bid on?
Yeah, but I mean, they have their worksheet someplace. Because that's how they figured out they left it off, I guess.
Like I said, we can request that information, but I don't know if there's anything we're going to be able to do to force them to provide us that information.
I don't understand. You said if they don't accept that, they said there can be other change orders? And they-
Well, I'm not saying there's going to be other change orders. I think they're going to request additional change orders.
They said that?
Well, they've already told me things that they're going to ask for other change orders for.
If they didn't get?
They started bringing those up once I told them I was recommending this being denied. If y'all want to approve it, we awarded $225,000 to them. We could do that. It's not a big deal.
What would be, you said you wouldn't recommend it, but what is all or nothing? Why you take that stand? Why not a compromise with them?
Well,
And I'm not even saying that I would
Yeah,
think that's the right answer, but
Yeah.
I think it needs discussion.
Well, I would say, individually, if we want to award them any money for the change order because they missed it in their bid, then it makes sense to me to pay for the materials that they're ordering. To say you missed it in your bid, okay, but we're going to give you half of that back. It seems like either you missed it in your bid or you didn't, to me.
Well, to me is, you recognize that you missed it in the bid. We recognize that we don't have to give you any money.
Right, sure.
We're willing, because of our relationship of other projects, we're willing to meet you halfway. You eat half, we eat half.
Sure.
Is my thought on it.
Absolutely.
If we went that way.
And
But
let me
that's-
see, that would be, my typing leaves something to be desired.
My line of work, sometimes you live by the sword, you die by the sword, so you don't want to win the battle and lose the war over it. But
It'd be that, if we did half, it'd be 112,904.15.
It's $224,000.
225,808, yes, sir.
But I'm not even trying to put that in the form of a motion. I'm just throwing it out for discussion.
Have they acknowledged that there's anything else that they omitted?
No.
Then perhaps we need to just have a meeting and what else do you anticipate coming? And this is a big thing for us to have to swallow, period, but. yeah, I
And
think-
he already knows that he has upcoming change orders.
No. He has indicated that there would be things he would be requesting. So, for example, he was asking for benchmarks at the sites. We did not get benchmarks set We told him we could get benchmarks set, and he said, well, if you don't get them set, I'll just get it done and charge you for it.
Yeah, if we were told them we were gonna do it, we got.
Well, I understand that. I'm just saying, it was just the immediate response.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
and-
he's kinda upset. I mean,
Well, I understand.
Well, benchmarks establish grades, and you need them when you need them, but that's not a $200,000 item. So,
It's certainly not, certainly not.
just,
And we'll get that set. I'm not suggesting we won't get them set.
Right.
Yeah.
but
you know.
I'm just saying that's a minuscule kind of,
Well, I agree, it is minuscule, but if we don't get them set for them, they're
Yeah.
gonna want a change order for that.
I think he needs to provide us more documentation that he did not have it in his bid.
like the worksheets
Yeah.
and
And he can certify those worksheets and let us see that. I mean,
Certainly can ask.
I mean, it's hard for us to agree to this just because he said he did it. But if he can justify it and everything, then
I'll be happy, we can defer this until the next meeting and ask for that information for the next month.
yeah, because he's going to be on the job for some time to come.
9 months, yes, sir.
And so getting this approved, tomorrow versus a month from tomorrow, I don't see,
Well, the panel ain't gonna be delivered till January either way.
so,
and he's already ordered that.
The submittal has been approved. I don't have confirmation it's been ordered.
so do we want to make a recommendation to defer this to the next meeting and get more information, or?
You understand what we need, Andrew?
Yes, sir.
All right, you?
Yeah, and plus you're gonna get engineering.
I'll get something, him write something up better than an email.
Right, and state each of the items that he
Yeah.
says he didn't include that
We'll do that,
weren't
yeah.
very clearly included.
Yeah, well, I'll get that from him, yes, sir.
That's fair.
And see, I understand that, but this still was a big item that obviously if somebody did not have it in their bid, and it'd still be low, I mean,
I think anytime you only have 2 bidders, it's easy to look and think you left a lot of money on the table.
but yeah, and every contractor goes back and looks at it. So
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
On this, they should have had a price in there for it. Well, somebody didn't read it good enough.
this is like providing a car. I'm asking you to provide a car and you forget to give me the engine. These are not small items.
Right,
I mean,
sure.
This is a huge item.
It does prevent functionality of the system completely if it's not provided, yes.
All right, I make a motion that we defer this item till the
October meeting.
October meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Motion carries.
Well, that was fun.
Next item is infrastructure dedications and conveyance of easements. Mr. Klein?
All right, Commissioners, good afternoon. Have 2 items on here. The first one is Sinclair Lakes, dedication of infrastructure and easement. Second is Wawa. This is you have seen Wawa before when they did finish construction of their project there, but this is a complimentary easement to cover a water line they installed along Community Road. Take a look. The first one, Sinclair. This is 543 linear feet of 4-inch PVC water line, and also 596 linear feet of 8-inch PVC water line, with a value of somewhere around $158,000 or $57,000. And then also the water and sewer utility easement to cover those. This is on the north end of St. Simon's Island. Turn off the ortho.
Didn't we have some kind of agreement with them about Sinclair Lake, that they were supposed to do something?
Separate, sir. This was a different proposal. The original Sinclair subdivision was gonna have, I believe, 120 homes.
Oh.
This has 6.
Going back in history, yes.
Yes, this has 6 or 8 lots, something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Very,
yeah.
very, very different
Similar
style of
name, different
development,
project, yeah.
Okay.
different flow requirements.
Okay.
Yes. So on Lawrence Road on the north end of St. Simon's Island is where we're talking about here. And nice little subdivision they're putting in there, a little infrastructure to support that. Scroll down, should have the record drawings associated with
Is that
that.
gravity sewer?
No, sir, this is water only.
Okay.
Here's a record drawing for the water system,
And they have big lots.
Yes, sir.
pretty good sized lots. And also easement dedication documents attached as well. Cover that. Second item is the Wawa easement. Again, this is the corner of Community Road and 341. And the highlighted area indicates where the easement is to cover the water line extension that Wawa did install. Let's see. Drawing. Thought it was buried in there, but let's look at GIS. And here we go. This is the water line, and again, they came across Community Road, bought the 8-inch water on the perimeter of their property, dedicating this, and this easement covers this new water line down through here, so we stay out of DOT right away. Comes down here, this actually is tied in serving the adjacent car wash business.
What size water line?
That is an 8-inch extension, I believe it's 8-inch. 8-inch. And this allows us to continue the water extension down. This ties into here. This is the car wash area here, formerly mobile park there, ties into here. And this allows us to update this to, should be updated. As soon as we get the easement in there, we'll turn that blue. Technically should be blue already.
That's been a busy triangle, hasn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's busy about 7:45 in the morning, too.
Yeah. The little back entrance at the corner right here, I've seen the little stop sign they have out there. That thing takes a beating. Poor thing.
That's why we should get to work at 7. You don't have to avoid, you can avoid all those traffic situations.
All right, so I'll make a recommendation that the Facilities Committee recommend to the full commission to approve and accept these requests for the infrastructure and easements with associated documentation.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Discussion section, water production report, Mr. Burrs.
Yes, sir. On our water production report this month, you'll notice well, let's start on the water loss page. Unaccounted for water, 12% for the month. We had some metering inaccuracies on the Goodyear well. That finished water meter's got to be replaced. So that was likely it impacted the last couple months. But as the meter gets more and more inaccurate, you'll see it ramp up and down. So I suspect some of that increase is due to that metering inaccuracy, but we'll see where it comes out at. We did have a little over 31,000 water bills sent out for the month. So our customer base continues to grow at a fairly consistent rate month by month. On the Brunswick system, you'll notice one number that typically has not been on there. The Canal Road well has been started up very end of the month of August, so it does not look like there was much water through there. It says 114,000 gallons was produced. Well, that was, I believe, 1 day's worth of water production through there when it got started up at the end of the month. So next month's report will show a much higher use there.
Have we closed out that contract?
No, so they're still doing some punch list items, things like that. But for the month, 5.8 million gallons a day produced on the mainland. Overall, Goodyear Park and Howard Coffin leading the way on production, but hopefully the Canal Road well will help, again, balance some of these a little bit better so the water's not pushing as far as it has to in our sort of middle of the mainland district there. St. Simon's Island for the month, 2.9 million. That's about a 700,000 gallon day reduction for the month of July because when we get to the wastewater report, it was wet. So likely not a lot of irrigating going on for the month, but still 2.9 million on St. Simon's Island. It does, if you go to the graph on the next page, does follow the trends for the month. Obviously, school starts back in most of the country in August, and we get a little bit lower tourism, so not as much flow in the month of August, but pretty consistent where we've been previous year. And then on the South Mainland District, 320,000 gallons of water a day. Again, very wet, not as much outdoor water usage down at the south end. So consistently at the south end, we're seeing a little bit of growth in water use down there, but stays pretty consistent month to month down there in that system. That exit 29 well is under construction, which Mr. Klein will go over during the project report. Any questions on the water production report? All right, wastewater for the month. The first thing that should jump out is the flow went up from 6.8 million gallons a day at Academy to 10.7 million gallons a day. Because if you look on the third from the right column, we got 17.5 inches of rain for the month of August.
Is that a gauge we have there?
That's at City Hall.
Okay.
So 17.5 inches of rain. That 2.93 inches says it's the highest daily total, but it was like 2.9 one afternoon and then another 2.5 the next morning. So it was like 5 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. It's just the calendar changed on us. I think that was the second weekend in August where we got all that rain. But as a result, the influent concentrations are way down because we had a lot of I&I into the system. So thankfully, getting that smoke testing project off the ground will help eliminate that. August was when we did get, we go through the project report. We'll go over this a little more. We did all the RAS pumps up, so we started seeing a reduction in our ammonia. So it went from 11 to 7.5. And then for the month to date so far in September, we're below 5. So we're starting to see that dwindle down as we would expect to as we get the new improvements online. 94% BOD, 95% TSS removal. Those are a little lower than normal, but that's heavily influenced by the lower influent concentrations coming in because of the I&I.
Are the filters running right now?
One side of the filters is running, the other one is still being worked on.
So is everything going through that one side?
Everything currently is going through the one side because we're back to normal flows. At high flow events, we have to bypass
Yeah.
the filters if only one of them is running.
When will it be fixed?
They were not there today when I was down there. They were here last week working on it, so they're getting to it. As you can see, August tends to be a wet month for us. Last year was also another wet month, less wet August for us. And you can see how the flow does follow those rainfall totals. St. Simon's for the month, 3.9 million gallons a day. Only rain gauge is only 13.5 inches of rain on St. Simon's. So anytime we can only have 13 inches of rain, I think that's a good month. But plant handled it very well, 96% BOD removal, 97% TSS removal for the month at Dunbar Creek. Again, we have seen an increase in our I&I in that system as well. So smoke testing will help us determine where we can eliminate some of that I&I, which didn't go up quite as much as it did last year with the rain event. So we may have found a couple of areas, and we did find a couple of manholes that we needed to work on that seemed to have helped, but we got more work to do in that area. And at Southport for the month, just shy of 700,000 gallons. We are smoke testing 3 basins on the South Mainland because we are starting to get some I&I issues on the South Mainland. 683,000 gallons a day is our highest ever monthly total for Southport. So, but 98% BOD, 99% TSS removal because even with the I&I issues, still below 50% of the flow at the South Mainland. 13.5 inches at the South Mainland as well for the month. So. Any questions on the wastewater report?
Have a look at the pictures.
Right. Chairman, Commissioners, this is the project report where we showcase our pictures of what's going on out in the field, the dirt that's turning. First project, community road area water and sewer extensions, and that is in progress. Good bit of pipe getting put in the ground, or coming across a couple. I think the only unknown we found so far was a 36-inch culvert that was not picked up in the survey. That's pretty easy to work around with the type of pipe we're putting in the ground. Already getting some calls in from some of the area businesses. They see the activity going on, and we're hoping to get a bunch of those folks tied in. Okay, Canal Road Water Production Facility, Mr. Burris said, this project, I just signed off on the substantial completion letter this morning for this one. So we're the final payment is imminent at this point, release of retainage. So this project is online, as you noted in the water production report. And I think as soon as we flipped the switch on this one, we noticed a lot of, it was shouldering the load from several of the other facilities quickly. Good looking site.
This is, we've been talking about, we're trying to finalize an RFP now for the water production SCADA, and this is an interesting case study in that we have currently 2 different SCADA systems for our water side. Certain elevated tanks run off of the old DFS system, certain run off the new VT SCADA system, so we need to get them all converted to the VT SCADA because they don't talk to each other. So the tank this one was tied to is on VT SCADA. We pumped to it, and one of the DFS tanks started overflowing out of the overflow on the water tower before it called it to shut off. So we had to adjust some set points.
Which tank was that?
The Kate Road tank. It's tied to Kate Road. Sorry, it's tied to Kate Road. The I-95 tank is the one that was overflowing. So
It's good to flush it out every
yeah, it flushed out the old drain on it. So got it taken care of, but it's still running, seems to be operating very well.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
That's a very visible facility right there.
It is highly visible right there on that main stretch of road.
it is.
We got our own access road.
And we have our resident inspector that can tell us if there's any problems every morning when he goes by.
Did we get a gauge read this morning?
Diverted me off the old.
Oh.
I can't read the gauge
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, yeah.
We'll make sure you got a key. There we go.
You know,
All right.
Should
Good
we put a
deal.
logo on that tank?
yeah, I think Wayne Neal District 3 would be.
And all,
Just a suggestion.
now, in all sincerity, GICA is interested in painting their logo on that tank if that's something the board is interested in.
Who's geeking?
Golden Isles College and Career Academy.
That's right down the road.
Right down the road there on Glencoe Parkway, yes, sir. If that's something y'all are interested in, we could see what that would cost and they may be interested in
We
doing
did it
that.
at Coastal College.
Right, we've never done the ground storage. We've done it on the elevator. We've never painted the ground storage, but if that's something y'all are interested in, we can certainly get some pricing.
And would you put anything JWSC on it?
No, sir. Pretty obvious it's JWSC.
Well, it is, but, you know.
Got a sign on the door.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent project.
But on the tank, we're gonna have us on one side and the.
On the elevated
on
tanks,
the
yes, sir.
other side.
On the elevated tanks, yes, sir. The north one, we'll get to that when he gets to the project.
Okay, the trio of pump station rehabs, 4002, final items there. Good walkthrough with our engineer and also contractor noted as Popco on these, as discussed before. I like this picture right here. This is looking down into the wet well, which is actually the slab of the structure is over the wet well. Much better access and much safer access now. You can see the orange grading in there preventing falls. Another picture of the force main discharge and whatnot, the mezzanine up there. That one is finishing up, looking good, looking good. Pump station 4044, wrapping this guy up here also. Final walkthroughs with our electricians.
Where is that pump station?
Payless, that's the one we formerly known as Payless, yes.
They were doing transfer switch testing today on all these pump stations, my understanding.
Yep, there we go. Tech Electric on site. Mr. Grantham there overseeing the activities.
He's in a lot of those pictures.
What's that?
He's in a lot of those pictures.
Yes, he is. He's very busy, very engaged. Okay, Dunbar Creek.
Dunbar Creek, not a substantial amount of work this month because we are The delivery of a portion of the pump skids for the chemical feed pumps came in early September, but a portion of it is now delayed until middle of October. So we're just waiting on equipment to get here at this point.
Did they get the new clarifier weir straightened out?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's one of the old clarifiers there that we're doing some maintenance on now that we got the new clarifier online, but we did get the clarifier weir straightened out.
Okay, pump station 4001, another one of the trio of rehabs. And there's Popco on site, walking through with our instrumentation folks as well. Substantial
On
completion.
these jobs, did they use the same electrical sub they're proposing on the one of the county?
On a couple of them, not all of the 3 pump stations was a separate. The 4001, 3101, 4002 was a separate electrical sub than 4044 or Highway 17 North. Highway 17 North is the same sub, and 4044 the same sub that's at the.
And we got good work on all of those projects. We were satisfied with it?
I mean, yeah, they're successful projects, absolutely.
Okay.
There's our Highway 17 North Pump Station. You'll see this one drop off the list, unfortunately, because I like showcasing this one. But it is essentially complete, but that is pretty nice looking
You
station.
didn't put the before pictures.
Yeah, they're in the archive, believe me, sir. Maybe we'll frame a picture and put it out there, for
That's
legacy.
quite an improvement.
Thank you, sir. I will pass that along to the team.
On the top picture, that manhole, is that for serving the this little area right above there? Is that a manhole?
That's actually your influent manhole there. So that's the former,
Okay.
that's the former,
Yeah, our traditional design has an influent manhole for if we need to drop a bypass pump in, instead of having to bypass out of the wet well, we can drop a hose in an influent manhole just upstream.
okay.
But Golden Shores is in the background of this, isn't it?
It is, yes, sir.
So there's another place over. across
They're not
the
tied
street,
in yet,
But they wanted to, or they will probably.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything from them since the station's been online.
There we go. Whew. Make myself dizzy. Yeah, so this is looking at aerial, turn the ortho photos on so we can see. Of course, this looks a lot different than the Highway 17 corridor now, but
We gotta
yeah,
update
so-
our aerial photos.
Yeah, these are ancient aerial photos. This is all improved now. Well, it's in the process of being improved. It's all opened up. Right away comes to about right here now. So, pretty close to where our station is, or excuse me, right away comes right here. The ditch is out here. So, yeah, so the Jason Cabana Court is not tied on, but it's, we've got good provisions for them to connect on something. And, Commissioner Neal, you remember this force main that we installed with the county's cooperation there, a couple of years back to help facilitate that US 17 widening. I think DOT is very appreciative of us working with them on that. Okay. And then the third pump station of the trio, 3101, that's on the south mainland. Again, our engineer of record there working with Popco, do final inspections. And again, Mr. Grantham there overseeing that final inspection. Academy Creek, RAS and UV upgrades.
So, Academy Creek right now, the top fiddle is there is a contractor's meeting on site for the UV system. The UV system is not started up. It's essentially complete. We're waiting on a startup date from the manufacturer. At this point, all the documents have been filled out, and my understanding has been submitted to the manufacturer requesting startup. Looks good out there. We're just waiting on it to get started up. You see us taking samples there as required in the bottom picture. That's Dalton, works in the lab there with us. And then on the next page, you see an aerial shot of the UV system. So everything's going through that right side of the photo through the old contact chamber, but you can see the new UV system is essentially complete on the other side. Weir plates have been installed. It's all the wiring has been done. Hydraulics are hooked up. We haven't powered it up yet at the request of the manufacturer, waiting. They wanted to be on site before we actually powered it up. So everything's ready to go. We just got to flip a breaker when they show up.
And we got 2 lines leaving that now, whereas before we had 1.
Yes, sir. There's 2 lines leaving. You can see in that top photo, Todd, their box that's attached on the end of the structure to the left right there. Yeah, that new box was added to allow us to install a new 36-inch effluent line leaving the facility right there.
And the building below that, that's a reuse pump.
That white building's a reuse pump station, yes, sir. That's for internal plant reuse water. And then you can see some shots there of the outfall line, and you can see a bit of a blob there, and I believe we did indeed have a manatee floating back up into the Academy Creek discharge line there. So that's the first manatee I've seen back there. See a lot of gators back there, but that's the first manatee I've seen.
Yeah, it was high tide, so it's kind of hard to see, but you can see the new structure and
New
everything here
structure
too.
there yeah. And that new structure was installed to help us out at extreme high flow, high tide scenarios. So if we have a major storm event that stacks the tide up significantly and we have a lot of rainfall that's going to increase flow, at times we were having problems getting flow out of the facility. It was actually the tide would actually back up into the contact chamber. These improvements would prevent that from occurring. And honestly, wouldn't be a bad place for a picnic table for a
quite
nice,
pleasant out there,
a nice
isn't it?
bag
Yeah.
lunch.
Yeah, actually, it really is.
A little park out there.
Well, we'll park
Yes,
there.
sir. It's a good place to take family when they come in town. You do the
Yeah.
obligatory tour for them.
Yes.
They always want to see manatees. This
Yeah.
is a good place to take them to see manatees.
It's not open to the public for manatee visiting.
You got to know somebody, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. This is another one we're very proud of. Exit 29, Division 1 is the ground storage tank on site of Exit 29, Southport Water Pollution Control Facility. Ground storage tank, looking good there. You can see
Is that
again.
tank higher than the one at Canal Road?
They're approximately same height. Approximately same height. Yeah.
It just looks higher.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it may be the perspective there. There we go. And on-site inspection from our engineer of record, Thomas and Hutton. They're on site. Okay, and Division 2 of our project down there is the elevated storage, exit 42, jumped ahead. Exit 42 storage tank along I-95 in between the Amazon warehouse and our neighbor to the west there. You can see the pylons going in. And this picture right here does show timing wasn't happening right with the valve installation for our project, so our group internally went ahead and installed the cluster of valves to support a tank project on the existing 12-inch water main out there. And that was a deduct, or is a deduct from our
Yeah,
contract.
so our crews did that because the Amazon warehouse needed water before we get the valves installed. So now with the valves installed, we can do the tie-ins without having to disconnect any customers on either side of the interstate.
That's correct, yeah. We can isolate that section between this valve cluster, as Mr. Burrow said, all the way on the other side of the interstate back in the woods there. So Buc-ee's will remain online no matter what we need to do.
The beaver nuggets continue to flow.
Did we have to do piles on the South Mainland tank too?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We did.
Got a lot of feedback on the piles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the noise.
Oh, on the noise?
Yeah.
At exit 29?
Oh, the south end?
They
Yes, sir.
started early and, no, on north end, exit 42.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you could hear that early in the morning.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. but
Interesting.
People were making comments. And,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
They were trying to make it be out at Fletsy,
Mm-hmm.
because that's usually where our noise comes from if there's noise around. But, yeah, they worked long hours getting this done. I'll put it that way.
Yes, sir.
Caissons?
No, sir, those are direct driven. Those are, yeah, concrete
How
piles.
deep are they? Do they?
Some of them were going in 50, 60 feet. Yeah, they punch them in until they get resistance, or refusal, they call it. Yep, then they trim them off. Okay, now exit 29, Division 2. All right, this, up north was our 750,000 gallon tank. This is our 500,000 gallon tank going on X29. You can't really see anything through the woods driving down the interstate yet. Not vertical enough for that. But in the background here, project media, you can see where the orange fence is. That's where the foundation right now is being installed.
I do have my two resident 5 and 8-year-old inspectors on the lookout for this on the way to and from school. So they're very excited about both the ground storage tank and the elevated storage tank.
So you drive down there to see it?
Yeah, it's right by the school, so my son tells me every day he saw my tank.
That's
So,
cool, man. Raising them right.
All right, buddy.
Raising them right. Yeah, there we go. Typical, a lot of reinforcing goes into the base of these, as you can imagine, and good progress on there. Third phase or third division of that project, X29, is our loop connections. And we should see our contractor mobilizing fairly quickly, Reeves Young, on this. They've been working through Glynn County right-of-way permitting process to get all their permits and traffic control solutions approved. And this is where we obtained an easement from the property owner some time ago to facilitate that connection between the two subdivisions.
We don't have a picture of Brunswick Villas.
Construction's complete, so
Yeah.
we didn't get any pictures of it.
That one essentially has fallen off the list.
All the roads are paved.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, so, yep,
Got a
unfortunately.
couple people tied in out there, too.
There are, yeah. So another good wrap-up to a project. Gone but not forgotten. Okay, and then detailed reports, or the numbers and whatnot, for your pleasure, are there. Happy to answer any other questions.
Do have requests for qualifications out now for some survey work, so we can do some potential in-house design on a neighborhood water extension project.
Yes.
So try to utilize for some of the smaller work, some of our in-house skills to get this taken care of.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Very good, thank you.
Good report.
Contracts.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.